Sausage.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of First, the show where I, Marcus Nez, gives you my first impressions on a game. This here episode is all about Redout 2, a futuristic racer very much so in the vein of classics like Wipeout and F-Zero. However, Redout 2 opts to go down the more mechanical path, focusing on speed over combat and technique over accessibility. Because of this, the latter in particular, I never quite clicked with the game, but that doesn't mean it's a bad game, just a bad game for me being the casual racing fan I am. I can appreciate what Redout 2 is doing. I can, and I do. But that's as far as my personal praise can go because I'm just not good enough at the game to say anything more or less for that matter. Racing games have always been something I enjoy as a casual player, but never a genre I ever got good at. TM copyright Ninja, aka Tyler Blevins, the one and only true gaming god of gaming and streaming and everything. Oh my god, Ninja, you're so good. I love you. It may be and probably is in part because I've never driven a car for more than a few minutes in real life thanks to being lucky enough to live in a big city where public transportation is viable for everything outside of going to IKEA to buy a bunch of furniture for your dumbass hipster house, of course, but you know, I'm not living that lifestyle, that IKEA lifestyle. But racing games were games I was never even remotely competitive in. Even so, I still enjoy the hell out of many futuristic racers included. The same can't be said for Redout 2 because it's so mechanically driven that if you don't master the game's few mechanics, you'll look less like a race car driver and more like a bumper car driver. I don't know about you, but constantly ramming into walls, vaginal or otherwise, is not my idea of a good time. It's not only unpleasant to look at, but unpleasant to control as well. No one likes feeling inadequate after all, unless that's your fetish, and inadequate is how Redout 2 made me feel. And it's not even that the game has a lot of mechanics you have to master, but that I just didn't click with what few it had over the course of my hour and change with the game. Turning requires strafing, turning, or a combination of the two, and driving up and down hills requires pitching, something that could easily lead you off track if you're not fast enough. And if you're saying, come again? What's that? What are you saying? I don't know either, which is to say I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense because racing makes as much sense to me as anime does to most people. But that's cool, right? To each their own, right? You have racing and I have anime. I think we all know who's the loser, right? Right? Anyway, I am about the last person you should listen to if you're looking to find out if Redout 2 is the game for you, but just know that if you're looking for a super arcadey experience, Redout 2 isn't the game for you. It does have a nice selection of assisted controls to make it a bit easier, but you won't be able to really compete unless you take the time to learn how to actually play the game, even against the AI on the lower difficulties. You'll soon realize that you just need to get good at the game. I will say before wrapping this up, I do like the look of the game and how colorful it can be at times, and the sense of speed is incredible, especially when stacking regular boosting with hyper boosting. It's a shame the music isn't as exciting as the racing itself because maybe, just maybe, a few good tunes would have been just enough to motivate me to keep playing. Alas, they weren't, and I didn't. Also, with the incredible sense of speed comes the loss of any ability to look at the visuals and appreciate them because everything's moving so fast that it's like, oh my god, this game was pretty, but now I what's happening anymore? Anywho, that will do it for this here episode of First. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere at PXSausage. You can find all my links of import over at pixelatedsausage.com/PXS. I'm very bummed that pxs.xyz, it's a premium priced URL because I would love to be able to say you can find all my links of import over at pxs.xyz/abc, but I would need the Patreon to get a lot better. Speaking of Patreon, if you like me and any of the jazz I do, you can go over to patreon.com/pxs and support me that way. And of course, if you are watching the video version of this over on the YouTubes, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and all that jazz if you haven't already. And YouTube is where I am streaming now, at least for right now. I think it's going to be permanent, but who knows with me. We all know that I am very hard at committing to anything in the current climate of everything, everywhere, all at once. All right. Anywho, that's it. Again, appreciate all y'all. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this thing. If you watching or listening, I hope you enjoyed it. That's what I say here. So again, if you're watching or listening, hope you enjoyed it. I'm already confused, so I'm just gonna say bye. Oh yeah, no. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I don't want to forget to tell you that. Please have a wonderful rest of your day. Okay? Hugs and kisses. XOXO.